Pittsburgh Steelers fans, the offseason is officially here for all 32 NFL teams. Welcome to the Hangover. My name is Bryan Anthony Davis. Alongside me is the one and only behind the steel curtain Hall of Famer, Tony Defeo. I don't know how that Hall of Fame designation came. I know I'm never going to be a Hall of Famer. I don't even think we do it anymore. Whoever would do it in the past. You got to tell me about that, Tony.
It was some guy. I forget who did it, but I was nominated and voted in. But you know, as you see how people treat me with my articles, obviously there's no respect there for the behind the steel curtain Hall of Fame. So it's not the same level as a Mean Joe Green would get as far as Canton. So you know, it is what it is. But I'm happy to be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, I am going to be like Hines Ward. I'm going to be snubbed for a while. Maybe I'll finally get in. Hines Ward definitely has a chance to get in. And there's some things that we're going to be talking about involving that as well. But the question of the day is, we just watched a ho-hum lackluster Super Bowl. If you're in Tampa Bay, you're excited. In fact, I have a problem with them calling themselves Champa Bay. When I heard them talk about that in the second quarter, I'm like, Champa Bay? You know what? I think I might start rooting for the Chiefs now, just because I heard that. Because I'm like, come on. We're the city of champions. Champa Bay doesn't work for me. It's clever, but yeah, bah. So I got to tell you, I had no clue the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were going to win this game. I picked against them. Some people in the live chat are saying, hey, I knew they were going to win. No, I didn't. What are your thoughts of that game? The game wasn't good, but it was still a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, it was a dominant performance by the Bucs. I mean, I was surprised. I like you. I thought the Chiefs would win. I didn't think it would be a blowout, but I thought the Chiefs would prevail. But the real story was the Buccaneers defense. I mean, yeah, Tom Brady, obviously he's the story, the MVP. He signs with the Bucs and he takes him to the Super Bowl and wins it. But the real story was that defense. I mean, the way they handled Patrick Mahomes, the way they got after him, you know, with the pass rush, it was amazing.
That defense was absolutely spectacular, amazing, fantastic, tremendous, anything you want to call them. That was a perfect defense. I heard some people saying, even LeBron James came out and said that they should have made the Super Bowl MVP the entire Buccaneers defense. So Todd Bowles, hats off to you. I have never seen Patrick Mahomes that confused. He never had time to pass at all. And there is the greatest stat I've ever seen that has come out now. The Tampa Bay defense made it so Patrick Mahomes was running for his life all night long to the tune of scrambling around and being sacked. They have calculated that he ran nearly 500 yards. He scrambled or was sacked for 497 yards in that game, Tony. I have never seen a stat like that. That's absolutely phenomenal.
It's crazy. It's crazy what they were able to do. And that's the key. I mean, no quarterback likes to be hurried and rushed. And I don't care how good of a runner Patrick Mahomes is. I know it's not his the strength of his game, but he's good at it. I don't care how good a quarterback is at that. If you're after him all the time, if the line doesn't give him any time, then it's going to be a long night. And it was the longest of nights for him.
So hats off to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's not the black and gold. There was a lot of black and gold ties to the Buccaneers in that game, especially on that side of the football. First of all, Bruce Arians, former offensive coordinator, former wide receivers coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He is now a Super Bowl champion at, I believe, age 68. So congratulations to BA for that win. Byron Leftwich, who this is the guy that I'm most excited for, because this could possibly get him to a championship level as far as, let me rephrase that, get him to the level of the head coaching ranks. So I think he did a lot of good things. I know he had Tom Brady, and he had a lot of weapons, but he was the guy who put that all together. And I thought the play calling was absolutely phenomenal as well. So I got to tell you, hats off to Byron Leftwich. I am also going to go ahead and look at players like Steve McClendon, Ross Cockrell, those players for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, former Steelers. Congratulations, you're Super Bowl champions. And I've got to say it, and this is a part of the hangover, asking if you're still hungover even more now because Tampa Bay won this game, and seeing Antonio Brown not only become a Super Bowl champion, not in the black and gold, but see him score a touchdown in this game. What are your thoughts on that, Tony? Because before I ask you your thoughts, I'm actually going to say this. Congratulations, AB, you're a Super Bowl champion too.
Yeah, it didn't really bother me that much. Maybe it would have bothered me more if he did it against the Steelers, in a big game and help beat the Steelers in the Super Bowl, something like that. But I guess it should have bothered me, but I didn't really have any the kind of feelings that I thought I would. I guess time heals all wounds, and I'm starting to move on from AB's crazy antics from 2019, which were pretty bad. But it didn't really bother me. I hopefully he gets his life turned around. We've talked about that in the past. He's not an easy guy to root for anymore, but hopefully he gets his life turned around, and maybe this is the start of that.
I'm over it too, and there was a part of me that was like, what, good for you. I hope you turn around. You are a Super Bowl champion, and I'm happy for him. I really am. I did miss somebody, and thank you so much to John Trent to let me know. Larry Foote, linebackers coach.
Yeah,
and man, that defense was phenomenal. And think about this. The last time that the National Football League crowned the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as champions, they had 3 defensive touchdowns. And it was mostly 2 of them were from defensive backs. And the defensive backs coach in that game was none other than one Michael Petaway Tomlin. So, it would be great to see Larry Foote. It would be great to see Larry Foote on that defense. It would be great to see Byron Leftwich be head coaches in this league. So that's great. Ron Chess says, bad. AB had a TD, but only 5 catches, 22 yards. He was a bit player on Tampa Bay. And that's the thing. That's the thing going into this game. People were worried about Le'Veon Bell, who really did not show up. I think he was active for this game, Tony, but I don't know the exact answer to that. Was Le'Veon Bell active?
From what I understand, he was, but I don't remember seeing him in there at once. I mean, I don't remember seeing him at all.
I don't remember seeing him either. But back to the fact that people were worried about Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown. One of them was going to be a Super Bowl champion, and I'm like, look, this is not an indictment of the Steeler way, right? Because those were crazy situations where the players wanted the divorce. And that's a little bit more that's a little bit more of a reason why. So, but I got to tell you, when you're talking about Larry Foote and you're talking about his linebackers, Levante David, Devin White, they both had interceptions. They were phenomenal. That entire defense, phenomenal. I fell in love with that defense yesterday.
Yeah, Sue's on that defense now. Am I right? Did I see him? He's on that defense.
Yeah, and Ndamukong Suh, I mean, he still had it together. Like I said, McClendon was on that team. Vita Vea was back.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they really, have a good team that, all credit to Brady. I mean, who would have thought? Like, I didn't think that, all right, he signed with the Buccaneers, big deal. He might make them, into a contender. He might make them better, but he's not going to take them to the Super Bowl. Maybe he knew more than most people did. Maybe he knew what he was doing when he signed with them, because he signed with a really good team and a talented team on both sides of the football. So kudos to him for making the right decision, because I don't think, as great as he is, I don't think he could have done that with another team.
Now, it's funny. I mean, my dad said something to me about a couple days before this game, and it was really funny because he has never liked Tom Brady. And ever since all this stuff happened with AB in Pittsburgh, he was anti-AB. And then he kind of did a 180 on me, and he was talking the other day. He's like, Bryan, I've been thinking about it. Tom Brady is the greatest I've ever seen, and I've been watching football for a long time. And it really shows you what he's done in this league. And I'm actually going to root for Tom Brady, because at this point, he's just extending his legacy. His legacy's built.
Right.
He has 6, now he has 7. I mean, it just shows that we're watching one of the greatest. And I said, well, what about this? What about this? People say that he cheated. I don't care about that. He's still, at the end of the day, he put himself in position and won 7 Super Bowls. And I was surprised to hear my dad say that. And I said, what about Antonio Brown, though, Dad? I mean, you've got Le'Veon on one side, and I explained my theory of them being bit players, that both teams would have been in here. He said, Bryan, I got to tell you, I'm fine with Antonio Brown now. He said, and this is my dad. I never thought he'd say this. He's like, he has never been the same since Vontaze Burfict hit him.
Right.
In that playoff game. And he has just not been the same person. Right. And so he said, I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him to get it together. And when my dad said that, I thought about it even more. And I'm like, you know what? I feel you on that. It still was, it was still rough for me to watch him catch that Super Bowl pass for maybe about a second. Then I'm like, stood up and I was like, there you go, AB. Good for you. Because right. I'm like you, I'm over it. But here's the question. What about you, Steeler Nation? What about you, BTSC fans? Are you guys over it? Are you fine with Tom Brady winning 7 when he already had 6? And now that he surpasses both his old team, the Patriots, and the Steelers as a 7-time Super Bowl champ, the only one that could say that. Are you fine with that? Or are you still hungover and that's got you down in a football way? Are you fine with Antonio Brown? So that's the question. Jake Myhoff. He says, I stopped hating on Brady after he got 6. It's the fair weather Patriots fan that I really can't stand. I think that's kind of where I'm at. Steeler Nation 412 says, I'm fine. Blitzberg says, Tom Brady won his 7th, not the Patriots. That's fine. Yeah. Mark Tobin's not fine with it. And I appreciate that too. He goes, no, I'm not fine with Brady winning a 7th ring. And that's good too. Ron Chess is fine with Brady. He feels he earned it. Bad Tony, I'm fine with AB too. Mark, who is not fine with Brady winning the 7th ring, is fine with AB winning. I think Lee Pate's happy for AB. AJ says, I still don't like Brady, but I'm still not hungover. Blitzberg, okay, this is true. Belichick has 8 Super Bowls because of his time with the Giants. I get that too, yeah. But Belichick wasn't the head man, and Brady 7 as the signal caller. But yeah, that's being ticky-tacky on my part. Just Me says, AB ain't an issue. Great. AJ says, bad, can us Steelers just get to their level for once? That's what I care about, at least for now. That's great. I want to say something about that, AJ. Listen to Michael Beck's show tomorrow, the live mic on the audio platform only. He is going to talk about the blueprint that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have followed and how the Steelers could follow that same blueprint. It's going to be a very good show. So check that out. T-Brand. I'm fine. I always knew what the outcome was going to be. I just hate TB12 fans. Hey, that's the thing too. That's it. How are you on? How are you on Gronk too? That's another guy. I'll ask you that in a second. Cree says AB is a jerk, always will be, and he didn't deserve it either. Yeah, Cree, I'm behind you on that too. I mean, I feel a little bit differently now, but I respect that opinion. Tyler W says AB could have helped us get to and win a Super Bowl. Chad says this, and I lost Chad there, but I think, let me see if I can find it here. I lost it. There he is. Not fine with Brady. Never liked, never will. And hey, that's kind of what we're polling. Felicia says, I don't care as long as the Steelers get to 7 first. And I think that's the ultimate thing. Felicia, I agree with you. We need the Steelers to get to 7 first. And that would be great.
Well, I mean, like Charles Haley has 5 Super Bowl rings. I mean, it doesn't mean, that's not how they count who has the most Super Bowls by player. It's by team. And I thought that was funny that CBS put that graphic up last night. He has more than the Steelers and more than the Patriots. First of all, he won 6 with the Patriots, so it doesn't even make any sense. So it's not about individual; it's about team. And yeah, he won his 7th, and that's great. But I'm not. It's not something that I'm like, oh my God, he has more than the Steelers. I could care less about that.
How many does Joe Green have? Because I think he was a consultant on the last 2. I think he actually has Super Bowl rings for the last 2 championships.
Right.
And Dick Hoke, I believe Dick Hoke has 6 as well, as being a coach. So those are guys too that you can look at there. Really interesting. Sadie says this. I think your dad is right, Brian. AB has not been the same since that hit, and I wonder a lot about his brain. I was a huge fan until things went down in Pittsburgh. And although I wouldn't consider myself a fan anymore, I'm still hoping that he can stay healthy and turn his life around. Sadie, well said. And I love the picture of your dog. I think that's awesome too. Thank you, and I appreciate you mentioned that. Blitzberg says this, and this is a good thing to look at too. This is kind of why I was rooting for Tampa Bay. Blitzberg says, as long as the Chiefs did not win back-to-back dynasty, I don't think so. So there's something to look at too. I mean, are you more fine with Tampa Bay winning because it doesn't mean a start of a dynasty for Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, those guys?
I mean, that really didn't enter into it for me. I was just really like hoping to see a great game. I thought either side, no matter who won, it would have been a great story. With the Chiefs, you would have had Patrick Mahomes slaying his, like basically taking the place of the guy that everybody's comparing him to now. That's Tom Brady. He would have been. He's the new face of the league, and if Brady won, obviously. He gets his 7th ring, and Bruce Arians gets his 1st ring, and so I think it would have been great on either side. So I was just rooting for a good game, which we didn't get. As far as the Chiefs winning back-to-back, that didn't bother me at all. I mean, heck, I'd like to see a team win 3 in a row. I think that'd be pretty cool. I mean, unless it's the Steelers, then I want to see them win it. But aside from that. 3 in a row by a team. That's something we haven't seen. That'd have been neat to go into next year with a team trying to three-peat.
I want to bring this up. Mark Tobin says this. I love Gronk, even though he destroyed my Steelers for years. He's a cool dude off the field. When this game was all said, we knew that they weren't coming back in this game.
Right.
The Chiefs, and I kept on saying to myself, I'm like, throw the ball to Gronk some more. I want to see Gronk get 3 or 4 touchdowns. It didn't happen, but I wanted to see it happen. Tony, we're going to go ahead and take a break. But before we take a break, I'm going to unleash the live chat. And when I say unleash the live chat, I want you to go ahead and look at a certain comment that I'm actually going to bring up. And you know my role here, Tony. Anybody is welcome in my living room. Just don't pee on my couch. And that's it. We've had guys like Big E Bronco on this show. We've had Cleveland fans, Baltimore fans that were really cool. But now I have been told something completely different. And now I don't even know what to think, because I guess that we're just we're completely wrong on the Steelers. Good job there. I got to tell you that, and I don't talk about grammar there, but I guess we've been wrong all this time. Jets fan thinks we should see the light, don't he?
Yeah, well, I mean, they were in that one Super Bowl when Nixon was president, so they're on a roll. So
they're a model franchise.
That's right. You talk about back to back. They might get back to back centuries. They might win Super Bowls in back to back centuries. So yeah, he's right. I don't know what we're thinking, being fans of the Steelers. Sorry, it makes me see things in a whole new light.
I'm just glad we have a Jets fan on the show. I think that's awesome. I'm so thrilled. Well, I didn't know they existed.
So I think most people in New York don't know. Isn't that Giants country? I mean, no offense, Jets fan, but I think they're more Giants than Jets now. It's like you're the Mets and they're the Yankees, but that's just what I heard. I don't know if that's true exactly.
Okay, so they get a franchise. They get a franchise quarterback in Sam Darnold. Now they're getting him. Jets fan is, and I'm giving Jets fan a lot of pub because this is all in fun. They're getting Deshaun Watson, who's Steelers quarterback, a 75-year-old QB. Oh boy, you gotta love it. So, all sincerity, Jets fan, welcome to the show. I'm playing with you here. I mean, you're definitely welcome on our show anytime. Thanks for the comedy. I kind of like the New York Jets, actually, and I would love to see them finally win or do something. But that organization has been a mess for a long time. But thanks for the comedy. I kind of needed that, and I mean, that was great.
The Jets are probably one of the reasons why we're sitting here. I mean, in all fairness to Jets fan, is that Super Bowl III win that changed the league and it changed history and made the NFL, or helped make the NFL as popular as it is today. So that's one great contribution by the Jets. So kudos to them for that. But you need another one. You need another one for a dynasty.
Ron Chess says this, and I got to bring it up. He is absolutely right. Hey, Jets fan, check this out. Bad Tony, 1969. I was 8. I'm now 60 years old, and the Jets had a quarterback from Pittsburgh, Joe Namath. It took a Pittsburgher to give you that one title. So there you go.
That's right. This is the area for all-time great quarterbacks, and Joe Namath was one of them.
And I gotta now look at this from Jets fan. It's fun trash talking, nothing love, brother. Jets fan, welcome to the show, buddy. I love it. I'm glad you're passionate enough to have fun, and we're gonna have fun back. But you're officially a friend of the show, and we appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much. With that being said, let's go ahead and take a break. We will go ahead and be right back. We're just going to stretch for about 5 seconds. Hey, if you are in a situation where you are checking this out on YouTube or Facebook, just take that stretch, take a drink. We will see you in just a couple. And if you are on any of our family of podcasts, the platform where you check all our podcasts out, here you go. Just go ahead and download number 2, and we will be back right after this. Pittsburgh Steelers fans, welcome back to BehindTheSteelCurtain.com. It is the Steelers Hangover, Super Bowl 55. Kind of a dud, but it's still the Super Bowl. It is still my holiday, my national holiday. I love any time I get to watch a Super Bowl. Tony, besides the game, everybody is talking about the weekend. And I'm not talking about Super Bowl weekend. They are talking about the halftime show. And it seems to be that a lot of my friends on Facebook and a lot of my older relatives were very confused by the weekend, especially the bandages. What was your thought on the halftime show?
I mean, they're all the same. I actually like The Weeknd. I think he's a very talented artist. But I mean, people, they expect a perfect performance. Where it's hard. It's almost impossible to get a perfect performance if you go too big, which is what they always seem to do. And he had he performed like 10 songs. He didn't finish one of them. So how can anybody really enjoy it? But I thought I like him as an artist, but I thought the Super Bowl halftime show was eh. And first of all, you could barely hear him. That didn't help. The sound quality was awful. But as far as like the bandages, I don't know what that was all about. But I'm not an artist like that, so I don't know.
Clicked on an article. He was trying to explain the bandages. I was confused by that, so I can't even reiterate. I wasn't sure. Here's the thing. If you close your eyes and listen to that halftime show, I thought the music was good. I really did. Yeah. I thought it was a good show. But when you open it, and it was just weird. It was, to me, it was like a weird WWE entrance. Where
Right.
the one where we've got a guy trying to get in another guy's head, and the bandages were a little too phantomy for me, a little too artsy for me, that I just didn't think it worked. But I got to tell you, I loved the sound. I think I would listen to him, and that being The Weeknd, I would check him out. Jets fan says they should have brought Shakira back. Mark Davison says, bring back Bruce. Bruce, we just watched Bruce because we did the retro show with the Steelers and the Cardinals. Kathy Ford. Kathy, great friend of the show. Bruno was good. Well, Bruno's on twice, right?
Yeah, you can't beat Bruno. As far as him and his band live, forget it. I mean, he's a bar that's too high for anybody to reach. But I think the Weeknd would have done himself he would have been better off just having this like a regular old concert, because I think people would have appreciated more of the kind of artist he is, because he's been around for about 5 or 6 years now. He's not new to the pop scene, but I guess he might be new to middle America, people who aren't used to that kind of music, maybe older people. So he would have been better off having a more streamlined show and where he could have showed off his talents better, I think.
I tell you what, that's it. I think the bandages creeped some people out, and I think that was it. But when you listen to him, I thought he was pretty good. Somebody mentions here, I think it was AJ Gavin Anthony mentioned Imagine Dragons. Why not? I saw them in concert last year. Man, not last year. I guess 2019 now. Man, they were fantastic. That would be a good Super Bowl show. They're trying to go with newer pop acts. That would probably be pretty good. Steeler Nation wants to see Eminem perform. That would be interesting too. I mean, I remember some halftime shows. I mean, I thought really it doesn't take much to entertain me. I just but my favorites are when you've got acts like, I thought Springsteen was great. And that was 12 years ago. I don't want to see Springsteen now. But they used to combine old and new. I remember when they had, I thought Maroon 5 was pretty good, but I remember back in the day, they would have like New Kids on the Block, and they would throw in Aerosmith at the same time. It was. Well,
I think the problem is the people, just their expectations. Like we're kind of jaded now with the halftime show and the commercials. So nobody really ever like is wowed by anything anymore. It's like the bar is so high now that you can't do anything but come back down. So I think that's a lot of what it is. Is people are just they're expecting to be wowed. So it's hard to do that in 2021.
NSMI 1830 has it correct. Must be a fan of the show. Must know what to do to make me happy. Hall and Oates. There you go. Hall and Oates. That would be amazing. That's all I gotta say. You throw in Huey Lewis in the News with Hall and Oates, that'd be amazing to me. Kriakis says bring in Journey. That would be awesome. T Brandt wants TJ and Janet Jackson again. And that was a really good show. And then you had the thing at the end that caused all the controversy. I watched that with my parents, and NSMI wants Earth, Wind, and Fire. That would be great. So, that would be a lot of fun. If we did have Hall and Oates, if what's that?
I was just singing September. Sorry.
Oh, that's a great song.
Right.
If we had Hall and Oates, I would never hear the end of it from Jeff Hartman. I never would. I mean, plus our luck, the Steelers would be in it with Hall and Oates, and then he would accuse Hall and Oates of making the Steelers lose. And he's never going to let me forget the fact that John Oates sang the national anthem when the Steelers lost to the Jaguars in the playoffs. Cecil Music says Joe Montana sang a few times with Huey Lewis. Laugh out loud. Yes, they did backup for Hip to Be Square, the entire 49ers. Right. Huey Lewis was a huge 49ers fan. So there you go. My dad. I was talking about my dad earlier. He's in the show. He's in the live chat, Tony. And
really?
Not the other Bill. There's another Bill Davis, but this is actually my dad right there. He wants Janet Jackson back. And I can tell you for a fact that my dad, who's been married for over 50 years, has never listened to a Janet Jackson album or a song. He could not name one Janet Jackson song, but he probably wants Justin Timberlake so he could so they could have the display. So if you're wondering where Mr. 2 a.m. and the crazy mind comes from, it's from that man right there. So he wants Janet Jackson back. Dad, I'm with you. Steelers, go ahead.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what these acts. That's what they aim to do. They aim to draw everybody in, and apparently Janet Jackson drew your dad in. So that's why she's a great artist.
Dad just wants to see more flesh. I don't blame him. So do I. I got to tell you this. This is Steeler Chick 46. Didn't Terry Bradshaw have an album? He had a couple. Yes. They were horrible.
He was the Le'Veon Bell of his day. Yeah.
Oh gosh, they were so bad. They're awesome. I gotta see if I could find one of those on iTunes. That would be great. Terry Bradshaw singing. It was awesome. Ron Chess says this. Bad Tony Prince doing whole show in the rain was still best. And I think the rain was purple. That was the Indianapolis and Chicago. It was in Miami the year after the Steelers won. So that was 2007, February of 2007. That I'm a big Prince fan.
Oh yeah,
that was a great one. That absolutely was. Everybody in the live chat saying hello to my dad. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Really, the reason I'm into the Steelers, my dad. So, and I'm so blessed to have him. So thank you so much for mentioning that. John Trent since MC Hammer would be great. We're getting into acting questions with Terry Bradshaw now. So, hey, look, it's the day after the Super Bowl. Let's have fun with it. I love Terry and Hooper with Burt Reynolds. Terry was also in he was in a lot of stuff with Burt Reynolds. He was in, Javier says, wasn't he in Cannonball Run? Yeah, he was. Now, he was in another movie.
Failure to Launch.
And I still have a problem with that. Because as much as I was excited to see Janet Jackson in that Super Bowl, I was not thrilled to see Terry Bradshaw's bare, hairy buttocks in that movie.
But that was very dad of him, though, right? That was a very dad.
Oh yeah, it was very.
I don't care. I'm naked. Whatever.
So they a Steeler chick says, "Bad, play Terry Bradshaw on one of your 2 a.m. shows." And I told you about my interaction with Terry Bradshaw and my dad a couple years ago, and Terry Bradshaw telling me to be glad that I have my dad, and it was all about my dad not taking me to the Super Bowl, taking my mom instead when I was 8. And I was joking that I was still upset with my dad about it, and my dad knew I was joking. And Terry scolded me a little bit. He's like, "Son, just be happy you got him." And his exact words were, "Hell, I wouldn't have taken you either." Exact words. Terry Bradshaw. That was one of my most favorite interactions with an athlete, and I've had a good bit of them now. I've had an opportunity to have a good bit of them, so that was a lot of fun. I got to tell you, next 4 minutes, we're gonna go ahead and take some questions. And if you want to make it fun, if you want to talk about Terry Bradshaw albums, you want to talk about Steelers in cinema, what movie, Tony, featured Lynn Swann and Bill Cowher?
Oh gosh, the Water Boy, right?
Yeah, both of them were in there, and I thought it was really cool last year because when Bill Cowher was announced to be in the Hall of Fame, Jimmy Johnson was at the same time. They should have had Bobby Boucher announce that they got in because they were in that scene together.
Yeah.
That's really funny. Ron Chess saying, "Hello, Bad's dad. It's an honor." Thank you. So that means a lot to me. That really does. Steelers were in a lot of. There's been a lot of Steelers in cinema. We also saw we saw a little bit of a commercial debut from Juju. Not a debut, but Juju in a Super Bowl commercial, which we've had Steelers in Super Bowl commercials before. And my question is, did Juju kill Samuel L. Jackson in that commercial yesterday? Or animated computer generated Juju? Did he attempted murder on Samuel L. Jackson?
It looks like he did, yeah. You always got to go big in a Super Bowl, and what's bigger than taking out Samuel L. Jackson?
Marky D, our boy from down under, says Hines Ward was a zombie in The Walking Dead. And of course, Hines Ward was the only one to, I think, survive in The Dark Knight. I could have went to the filming of that, but it was my son's 4th birthday. And we were having the party that day on a Saturday. I've got a buddy who's actually a Broncos fan that went to the filming of that. But I did not get a chance to go to that. I would have loved to have been there. But I have been to a filming of a football movie, Tony.
Which one?
Which one, you ask? The great 1983 film, filmed in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. All the Right Moves with Chris Penn, Leah Thompson, Craig T. Nelson, and some guy named Tom Cruise.
Never heard of him. He did okay for himself.
Yeah, some guy. I don't know, but you know what? That was awesome. That's one of my favorite movies because, like I said, it was filmed in my hometown, and I got to be at the Maine football game, and it was awesome. And they had a lot of high schools. If you were a high school senior, they took one from each school, and they got to play in that game. And I have a jersey. I have a Steph DeGeorgevich that was Tom Cruise's character. I have his jersey because I'm a major jersey guy. I wore it actually on a Tales from 2 a.m. a couple weeks ago, and I really impressed the one and only Kevin Smith when he saw that. So there you go.
Yeah, that's a pretty good story.
Let's go ahead and take 3 questions, and before we wrap it up. So the next 3 questions, they get it. Looks like we've got a Bengals fan in, and the Bengals fan is proclaiming that it's next year. It's going to be Bengals 49ers 3rd time. I think I got to tell you, Joe Burrow, I love that guy. I think he's going to be really good. Ron Chess asks, Tony, do you think Joe Green's Coke commercial is the best?
I mean, it's probably the most famous Super Bowl commercial that they've ever had. So I don't know if it's the best one, but it's definitely the most famous.
As far as Steeler commercials go, absolutely. The only other Steeler commercial that I enjoy just as much is Myron and Jack Lambert in the Kennywood 1985 commercial. When Myron has the rubber ducky, and that's a lot of fun. But this, for me, was the perfect commercial. You've got the guy coming off the field. He's tired. He's down. This kid sneaks into the tunnel. I don't know how he did that without. I don't know how this kid sneaks.
Where were his parents?
Yeah, I don't get that. But Joe's down. He's tired, and he's like. He's like, yeah, kid, yeah, whatever. And then he's like, hey, throws him a Coke. You get the thanks, Mean Joe. Hey, kid, catch. Then they spin it off into an NBC Sunday night movie, Joe Green and the Coca-Cola Kid, which I watched after the Steelers beat the Falcons in 1980. So I would love to find that on YouTube. I found Fighting Back with Rocky Blyer on YouTube. I need to find that one. That would be great. But that to me is the ultimate commercial. I don't think you could beat that for me as far as Super Bowl commercials go. There's funny ones, but that's my favorite. It's got heart, and I don't care what team it is. There's a lot of heart in that commercial.
And it changed in the eyes of many, it changed the perception of Mean Joe to the general public, because they really thought based on his play on the field and his antics and his punches, people thought he really was mean, but no, he was just a big old giant, gentle giant off the field.
Here's a great question. I don't have the answer, but Cree asks us, Tony and Bad, you know how many books Bradshaw has written? I think about 4. I think I've read about 3 of them.
Yeah, I've read a couple. He's pretty entertaining.
Felicia asked, now that the salary cap level is out, will Ben come back? Is it officially out? I mean, I know they're saying they're projecting like 181 now. Yeah. I don't know. They're going to talk this week, Felicia. I'm starting to think it might not happen. But he's getting together with Tomlin and Kevin Colbert this week. So we will see. Bad Tony, they filmed Dark Knight in front of my office. I saw Anne Hathaway in a Catwoman outfit. That was nice. Good for you. That is the comment of the day. I love that. Yes, Anne Hathaway in a Catwoman outfit. That's cool to me. I like Anne Hathaway. I like her a lot. The great one who is a Bengals fan, only Steelers fan I like is Snoop Dogg. Hang around us more, great one. I know you've been ripping on the Steelers here, but I got to tell you, if the Steeler fans in here right now are their diehards because it's the offseason they're in here, they're pretty cool fans. But Hank Williams Jr. is a Steeler fan. Burt Reynolds was a Steeler fan. And I got to tell you, you don't get much better and cooler than Burt Reynolds.
Right.
So, and he was a college football player too. So there's some cool Steeler fans, cool celebrity Steeler fans out there. Paul Rudd is like a dual Steeler fan, a dual Steeler and Chiefs fan. And the great one mentions that it's only because how they talked to me before the Monday night game. I get it. There's some of us that aren't so cordial, but you stick with us here. You're cool. The role on the Hangover and any of my shows is anybody's welcome in the living room. Don't pee on my couch. Great one. You're welcome to come in, be cool, and we'll love you. And we'll get your Bengals perspective, and we'll treat you with respect. So you will not have anybody ripping on you if you don't rip on us, and you could be our buds. So we're cool with that. Kyle Schofield says Robert Downey Jr. too. Yeah,
that's right. He is. I didn't realize he was a fan.
He just gave the Iron Man mask to our Iron Man, Cam Hayward. Chad says this: the CB Peterson of cards will opt to free agency. If the money was equal with Hayden, who do you want? Tony, that's a good toss-up. I kind of think there might be more upside with Patrick Peterson, but there's something special about Joe Hayden too. Who are you taking if there's a toss up between those two?
I mean, I think Joe Hayden. I think he's a better teammate. Patrick Peterson, he's had some troubles with the Cardinals management. I don't know if that's what the Steelers. I mean, he's obviously a great talent. And maybe I'm exaggerating just because I like Joe Hayden so much, but I would stick with Joe Hayden.
Just me, says Seth Meyers. I'm a big Seth Meyers fan. I always thought he was great, and I love listening to him talk about his Steeler fanhood. I think that's great. Thaddeus says this. I didn't know this. Stone Cold Steve Austin is a Steelers fan. Saw him at an AFC Championship game in Pittsburgh. That is pretty cool.
I had no idea.
I got hit with a beer, one of Steve Austin's beers once. I took my nephew to a show once, and we got down closer, and I got cracked with I got doused with beer by Stone Cold. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's really great.
Yeah, there's my claim to fame. Hey, let's get on out of here. Thanks so much for everybody coming in. All of our BTSC fans, if you're checking us out on one of these shows, you are a diehard, and we love you. We had Jets fan in. We had the great one in from Cincinnati. At the beginning, they came in, they taunted. Now they're friends of the show. And I noticed the great one had something nice to say. Just a few that we've got a deal. He'll be cool to us. And that's what we do here. We're a Steeler family. But guess what? If you're a Jets fan, you're a Bengals fan, you're welcome in our living room. So thanks for checking us out, giving us a chance. We are going to prove to you, we don't have to, but we're going to prove to you that Steeler fans there's a lot of cool Steeler fans out there too. And there could be cool Jets and Bengals fans. And I'd love for you guys to come back and be a friend of the show. So with that being said, my name is Bryan Anthony Davis. That man there is Tony Defeo. We're the Killer D's today. But I got to tell you this. Oh, I got to bring this up real quick. This is great. It's the great one again. We got something in common. We hate the Browns.
There you go. Right.
You throw the Browns and the Bengals in that comment, we're good. So I got to tell you, once again, I love you, Steeler Nation, BTSC Nation. Anybody that comes in here, we love you. Thanks for being here. We've had 2 Bill Davises in the live chat tonight. We had my dad, the real Bill Davis, who was in the live chat, and we have the other Bill Davis, who my buddy Bill Davis. So we've got 2 Bill Davises here. How about that? So for Tony Davis, I'm Bryan Anthony Davis. You're an honorary Davis right now, Tony.
That's okay.
Okay.
People don't know how to pronounce Defeo anyway, so that's good.
Well, because I'm Anthony Davis, and my grandfather was Tony, and my uncle, who helped along with my dad, helped with my Steeler fandom too, was a Tony. So for Bryan Tony Davis and Tony Defeo, just when you think you've got all the answers,
we keep changing the questions.
It's the great Rowdy Roddy Piper says it, and we agree with it. See you later, BTSC. We love you.